Hey guys, welcome back to In the Vault with Ali and Shane.
Hi guys.
I never know how to kick these things off. I want to say like, Shane, how was your week? But then
I know.
it's so rigid.
Oh, I want to tell you how my week is. My week was good, doll. My week was good. We went out last night for a few drinks with the GFs at work. I'm like on my post-event vibe now. I feel like it's always a bit of a mad rush to do some post-event stuff, but I feel like it's mostly done and then it'll just be reporting soon. We went to Menzies Bar in the city, which is it's below Shell House, and it's like really cute and moody vibe wise. They were doing $10 mini martinis and $10 lobster rolls as well, which were divine. We went to Hotel CBD after that. It's like $14 and tonic.
One thing I really miss about like an office job is being able to go out with your co-workers and have a little bitch sesh.
What's great? Nothing revives you more than doing that. The camaraderie of mutually disliking someone in the workplace. It's my fuel. It fuels my fire.
Actually, Jake Gyllenhaal is doing a movie in Brisbane at the moment.
Oh.
And he shot something at my old work building.
Cute.
It was at 123 Eagle Street.
Can I just say, 123 Eagle Street couldn't sound like more of a faker address. Guys, I'm heading to 123 Eagle Street. Meet you there.
That's the business district, babe, the CBD.
Okay, fair doll. Can I say one thing about Brizzy? The wildest thing is I feel so many of the good things in Brisbane don't exist within the CBD, whereas Sydney is the opposite. I've been to Brisbane, three times, and I've never gone to the CBD.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're like wanting after work drinks or something like that. Like if you're in that going out phase, you do sometimes go to the city, but that's more on a Friday.
Yeah.
And then you hit the Valley on a Saturday, and they are relatively close. Now I'd say there's Howard Smith Wharves, which is the city.
Yeah, that's where we went, right? Under the Stony Bridge.
Yeah, it does run down to Eagle Street Pier and stuff. There's lots of restaurants and things like that, but you don't go into the city to shop. You go to like a Westfield or something.
Mount Gravatt.
Shirley store at Mount Gravatt.
But you know one thing I learned about Mount Gravatt? It's the biggest shopping centre in Australia.
Garden City, Mount Gravatt?
Or maybe it's the second largest after Chadstone. It's huge.
No. That would be Chermside.
Chermside.
I used to go all the way to Mount Gravatt to Suntan. I would go to the solariums.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cut that out. Pre-beauty influencer days.
Yeah, I would never do that now, but people did think I was Brazilian. Anyway, back to Jake Gyllenhaal though.
Yeah.
There is this photo of him on the phone on the stairs, right? And all I could think is, oh my God, those are the stairs I used to cry on.
Yeah.
I used to cry on those stairs.
Those are the stairs I used to be on the phone having a mental breakdown on.
Yeah, it's like, I recognize Jake.
Oh.
Same people.
Girl. Doll, what have you been loving this week? What's your hot prod?
I don't have a hot prod, but I can say I'm in a bit of a glow up season of my life.
Okay.
And I am just trying to do the damn thing. In my workout era, I just got my hair chemically straightened. So I went to this place called the Straightening Co. and they have one in Sydney, the Gold Coast, and also Brisbane. And I was going to get my hair permanently straightened. But then when I sat down, she was like, let's go a semi-permanent so you don't have to like jeopardize your texture in your hair. So when I wash this, you can't wash it for 7 days. So my hair is looking greasy as.
Oh, I don't think it looks that bad, doll.
Really? Okay, perfect.
That's so hard. Do you have to wear like a washing cap like a shower cap?
You can get it wet, you just can't wash it. So you can't put product in it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was like, I need to go to the gym.
Yeah.
I'm in my health girl era. But yeah, and then I've also just been eating lots of protein. Like all my meals are just like mince or chicken, some sort of veg, and a fat. I'm just keeping it healthy. High
fiber's been really my focus. Colon cancer rates are on the up. So I'm just trying to be a high fiber girly. What I've been doing, what I've been loving, I've been having a porridge in the morning because it's perfect porridge weather now that it's cold. And I've been adding chia and flax seeds to it. So
how do you make your porridge? Do you make it on the stove or
I make it on the stove.
Yeah.
Just because I prefer it. And we have a bulk health food store just up the road, and they have this blend. It's like cinnamon, apricots, like a bunch of things. It's so yummy. So I've been having that with chia seeds, flax seeds, raspberries, and honey.
Yum.
I love that.
Kings,
On our little health
please.
kicks. Doll, I have a product this week and I've been using it for maybe 3 weeks. So I wanted to give it a proper test run before I decided how I felt. But it's the Youth to the People Superfruit Gentle Exfoliating Cleanser. I don't know if you know this, but when Youth to the People was in Sephora, they were actually one of my clients as well. They left Sephora and went to Mecca, and their cleansers are the best. I don't know if you've ever tried the kale and spirulina one. It's probably their most popular one. It's that green. Yeah, it's a light green, like fresh smelling one. This is a vitamin C and AHA cleanser, and then lactic acid. So it is going to help cellular turnover. Use it 3 times a week. So I guess it's more of an intense cleanser, but it's going to help with dullness, pigmentation. And one thing I love about Youth to the People is they have refills. So you just buy the bottle once and then refill as you go.
I hate when brands do refills and you're like, this is barely...
Yeah, I think it's a 1 liter refill. And I think it's like, and I think that gets you like 2 refills. I think you save like 40% or something.
Oh, well, I don't have a product of the week. Wait, let me think about it.
Well, Doll, your product's your straightening.
Yeah. Well, I was feeling really good about myself this morning, right? I got up and I was like, God, it's so windy today. Like, I hope it don't blow away. Like, I'm so freaking out.
Wave.
Wave. And then I like look at my phone and one of the comments on my video is, are you ugly or just fat?
Is this on TikTok?
No, it's on Instagram.
Stop.
I know. And I was like, ego crashed.
Crashed.
The thing about me is you give me an inch, I'll take a mile.
Yeah.
My ego inflates very quickly.
Oh, same. But say one negative thing about me and I'm in the ground. Yeah. It's like, I can call myself fat, but don't you dare call me fat. Yeah.
So then it took me like, I'm not going to lie, a couple of hours of my day figuring out like, what do I say to this chick, this 17-year-old that said this to me? What do I say back?
Name and shame her, I say. You know what she'll... Yeah, Brie, 17-year-old ass, grow up ass, okay? Like,
cheese, Brie.
Yeah, ass cheese, Brie cheese ass. But like, no, seriously.
It's all of our Brie listeners.
Yeah, and like, sorry, and like, can I say 17, you're old enough to know better at that age. You know what I mean? You're 1 year from being an adult legally.
Yeah, well,
no better.
Find something more productive to do with your time because your calendar is giving up.
Yeah, Doll, should we dive into this week's topic? I'm actually quite excited to talk about this.
Well, what are we talking about essentially? Because honestly...
I have 7 pages of notes, but that's okay. So, Doll, this week's topic is celebrity spirals. So... we're going to cover, I know, literally I'm spiraling. We're going to cover a few celebrities and or media personalities that have had recent spirals, you know, spirals in reputation, spirals in the way they're acting.
Wobbles.
Yeah, a couple of wobbles in their career, you know, happens to the best of us. Has happened to me, you know, has happened to Ali. Yeah, multiple times.
Me?
I'd say she's going through one right now. So our first topic is, I think, one of the most noteworthy spirals in recent history. And when I say noteworthy, I mean, it's definitely been a topic of ongoing conversation, I think for like the last 18 months, maybe 2 years. It's Blake Lively, formerly America's sweetheart, now in one of the messiest lawsuits I think we've seen in a really long time.
I bet she wished she never took that movie role.
For sure. So really, it ends with us press tour in August 2024 ignited the firestorm that took nearly 2 years to settle, and it's still not over. We're still having news updates coming out as of last week. I also need to preface that we could sit here and spend 5 episodes on just Blake Lively, but we're going to be really top line. We're not getting into the weeds. So it ends with us launches in August of 2024. Lively has a bunch of lighthearted interviews promoting her new hair care and cocktail brands alongside a film about domestic violence. This kind of pings a lot of sour tastes in people's mouths, and rightly so. Observers also noted co-star and director Justin Baldoni is absent from cast photos in the New York premiere. obviously New York is the biggest city on the East Coast, so a huge moment to miss out on, fueling speculation about behind the scenes tension. How did you feel about this doll? Because I saw the promotion of the hair care and the cocktail business, which I also think is so random for Blake Lively to do as someone that's like never overly expressed. And she has beautiful hair. I never saw her as a beauty leaning celebrity, right?
I think a lot of her business ventures are random. She's created a cocktail brand, but she doesn't drink alcohol. She has a non-alcoholic brand called Betty Buzz, and I think that aligns with her because she doesn't drink. Thought that was cool. I do think that the hair care range does make sense, but it would have made sense more in her just coming out of Serena Vanderwoodson days, not so much right now.
No, agreed. Even then, doll, I don't know that, it even makes that much sense in general.
She was really well known for her hair.
Yeah.
Messy hair.
I feel like when I think of, though, like a celebrity that it's a justifiable hair care brand, I get Jennifer Aniston's hair care brand. That makes so much sense to me. People were always talking about her hair. Her hair was such a hot topic. There's a whole haircut in the early 2000s.
The Jennifer.
Purely the Jennifer.
Oh, the Rachel.
The Rachel, sorry. Purely based on her hair. So justifiable for her to have a brand.
Actually, even Jennifer, I'd say that's too late.
Yeah. She should have launched it 15 years ago. I don't know that there's a strong enough link, and I know she has very beautiful hair, but I don't know if that's enough to be like, I'm launching a hair care brand. Anyway, I thought it was all very odd. Between then and September anyway, Betty Buzz beauty brand goes dark. Court documents later reveal that Lively's Blake Brown skincare brand went dark on social media for nearly a month due to surging negative sentiment. Target's internal projections of approximately $821,000 in weekly sales reportedly fell well short. Negative online mentions more than doubled during the period, with branding experts later noting that being labeled tone deaf is commercially devastating for a celebrity brand. I mean, we're not shocked by that, right? The New York Times, then skipping to December, publishes We Can Bury Anyone, Inside Hollywood's Smear Machine, detailing Lively's allegations against Baltoni. Simultaneously, Lively files a complaint with the California Civil Rights Department accusing Baldoni and his production company, Wayfarer Studios, of sexual harassment and a coordinated social media smear campaign designed to damage her reputation. Colleen Hoover and co-star Jenny Slate publicly back Lively. Moving into the end of the year, Lively files a federal lawsuit in New York, restating her allegations for sexual harassment, retaliation, and a deliberate campaign to destroy her reputation. The same day, Baldoni files a $250 million defamation suit against the New York Times, calling its reporting false. The publication stands by its story. Judge Lyman dismisses the majority of Lively's claims against Baldoni, including all sexual harassment claims, partly on a technicality. 2 weeks before jury selection, Lively drops her 3 remaining claims against Wayfarer Studios in a settlement. Variety confirms no cash compensation was paid to Lively. Baldoni's side is reported to be ecstatic.
Along with this legal battle, there were also a lot of things coming out, like that journalist. She leaked an interview that she had done with Blake Lively, where
the 2016 one.
Extremely rude to her. And a lot of little pieces just started falling together that made people side with Justin Baldoni. And while I don't agree with how Blake has treated this journalist, there's also conversations about how her co-stars from Gossip Girl don't really like to talk to her as well because of maybe the way she's treated them. So do I think that she's the greatest person on earth?
No.
Probably not. But also, would we be here if this person was a man? She probably just wants to get shit done. You know what I mean?
I think it's so layered. I think it's an incredibly layered situation. I'm sure Justin Baldoni said many things that like aired on the side of inappropriateness, but it's all so situational, right? It's like I say things that are inappropriate in the workplace all the time. But it's who you're talking to. We have no context about what their relationship looked like and how it can be manipulated to both benefit him or Blake Lively. This is a case of 2 narcissists going head to head. And I think they're both just as toxic as one another.
But Justin has less to lose. I think that he has also hurt his own career by doing this.
Agreed.
No one's going to touch him either.
No. And this also could have been the role that could have made him leading man potential. and the ball has unfortunately been fumbled. Permanently detrimental to both Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
I hate to see a smear campaign against a woman.
Same.
And it happens all the time. And I always read the comments and people will be like, oh, we're doing it again to another woman. And people will be like, no, I would feel like this towards a man as well. And it's like, no, you wouldn't. How Blake Lively from a sexual harassment case now can't get a gig. She's blacklisted in Hollywood. And she has done so much with her career. So I just find these smear campaigns, and whenever I think about the biggest smear campaign of them all.
She's done so much with her career. I mean, if you're comparing the pair, but outside of Gossip Girl, and don't get me wrong, Age of Adeline is probably one of my favorite movies. But they're probably the only two things I can think of when I think of Blake Lively. Still the Traveling Pants, true. But that's pre-Gossip Girl.
Green Lantern. Yeah. But,
that was a reach, doll.
Okay, fine, that was a reach.
Yeah, same.
I think of one of the biggest smear campaigns I think of is Nigella Lawson. Whenever I see something like this, I just think we're doing another Nigella Lawson. And if you're not familiar with the Nigella Lawson situation, whenever you talk about Nigella Lawson, people always like to say, well, you know, she's a raging cokehead. And the story behind that, right?
Before we go into it, though, we'll just give a trigger warning. There is accusations of domestic violence.
Nigella Lawson was photographed with her husband at the time, Charles Saatchi, and he was choking her at a restaurant. This photo made front page news around the world. Charles Saatchi, her ex-husband, a media mogul, he owns Saatchi & Saatchi Media House, that owns Publicis, that owns Herd MSL, lots of PR companies. Essentially what he did, allegedly, is he leaked then a photo of her doing cocaine. And he leaked it to the press to override the photo that was taken of him strangling her. And now people have completely forgotten about that entire domestic violence situation, and they now see her as a cokehead. It's like a complete smear campaign, and now her whole reputation has been completely ruined after everything that she's done in her career. And it's a smear campaign, and I'm so sick of this happening to women.
Funny, doll, because I had never heard of this until we discussed it just prior to starting. And you can't make me hate Nigella Lawson, but that's just me. You know, she's a gay man's dream. She's curvy, pretty. On May 12, Judge Lyman denies her request and submits additional filings before he rules. The legal battle is not fully over. So I can't believe Blake Lively spent $64 million in legal fees. Crazy.
Well, I think she probably felt like she had to because the narrative was so negative against her. She felt like she had to win this so she could get some credibility back. Something I think is a little bit more local, Abbie Chatfield. She is a very outspoken influencer. She kind of first came to stardom through Bachelor.
Which, doll, have you ever watched The Australian Bachelor? I watched Tim Robards because I thought he was so hot.
Watched Maddie J's season and I watched Sam Frost's season like way back in the day. And honestly, I personally, I do like Abbie and I do follow her, but there was a point where all of her videos did come across incredibly aggressive. Originally, when she started to become a bit more outspoken, people liked that about her. They're like, oh, we like that you're saying what we're all thinking. But then it went from saying what I'm thinking to these outrageous allegations about people that it's just defamatory.
Yes, and that's the problem, right? I think being outspoken is an amazing trait to have and an amazing attribute to have. And people need to be spoken for sometimes, you know? Like some people don't have the courage. And I think that's a really beautiful thing Abbie brought to the Australian media landscape, especially because, as we know, Australians quite often suffer from tall poppy syndrome. I think there's a lot of Australian media outlets that are very happy to tear not only women, but anyone down that has an opinion. We've seen it happen with Rebel Wilson, for example, and all those defamatory things that were coming out with her and the media outlets. And I think as well, doll, sometimes I do think, and I say this with love, I do think sometimes someone sees something get hot online and they think this is the formula. Like, I think Abbie had maybe one video go really viral about her having a very outspoken topic on something. And she was like, this is my shtick. I'm going to go with this. And this is what I'm going to deliver. And it's obviously now kind of not worked in her favor where it may have previously worked in her favor, right?
I'd say probably her two most recent apologies would be her Harrison Boone apology. Essentially, she had to recently apologize to Married at First Sight contestant Harrison Boone after she labeled him a sexist, alt-right freak and accused him of supporting Nazi ideology. She had to make the post due to the defamation dispute that Harrison put towards her. Harrison Boone, he says very sexist things, and I don't agree with him, and I think he's a bit of a fuckboy. To call someone, see?
Yeah. That takes it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
I think he was so toxic that I completely erased him from my mind.
Yeah. So do I agree with this man? No. Do I like him? Do I like his opinion? No. I do not like him. But do I agree with someone? You've got to remember what a Nazi is, people, and what they have done to the Jewish community. To call this man a Nazi, one, that's bringing down what Nazis have actually done.
And Dole, not even against the Jewish community. It's against the LGBTQIA plus community, disabled community, people of color. It goes on and on.
So Harrison actually created a GoFundMe to help with his legal fees to go towards his defamation case with Abbie Chatfield. He raised 10,000 Australian dollars, contributing $100 himself, which is like,
just in case, Dole.
So she did have to come out and apologize for that. There is conversations about how Abbie is really only just apologizing when it serves her. For example, I would say the most recent issue that she has had is with her partner, who is Kelly Holiday, also known as Adam Hyde. He's a singer. He tried to get into America to perform in New York, and essentially he was denied access. The United States is starting to look at people's social media and see what they've been saying about America before that they come in. And a lot of people are speculating that because he's with Abbie Chatfield and she's been saying a lot of defamatory things about American politics, they've just chosen that he, as a subsequence, is not being allowed in either. So to really go back and talk about this issue, kind of actually have to go back to December 2024, Luigi Mangione.
Yes.
Woo!
Our hot murderous king.
Sing where you stand, doll. Hot murderous king.
Can I just say something? No one loves Luigi Mangione more than the gays. Every time I open my Instagram, even if I wanted to escape it, I couldn't. There's some gay meme page that's talking about Luigi Mangione.
Look, he is incredibly photogenic, I must say.
He is.
So he's a 28-year-old man who is currently facing trial for unaliving the United Healthcare CEO and Thompson in New York City in December 2024. He was arrested 5 days later at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania with a 3D printed gun and a handwritten manifesto. In this manifesto, he discusses his deep-seated ideology and anger against the American for-profit healthcare insurance industry. And he views this industry as parasitic and entirely responsible for corporate greed and widespread suffering. We're going to lighten it up a little bit. That's the heavy part. But when photos started leaking of Luigi Mangione, hey! Woo! People became obsessed, honey.
Can I say that photo of him topless with the six-pack is chiseled in my mind? I could draw it from memory.
When he did the perp walk, it blew up. People were sending him love letters. They were sending online confessing their love for him. And a lot of people were siding with him, honestly, purely for his looks. So this is where Abbie comes in. She creates a video off the back of all this Luigi Mangione love. And she says this.
Americans, when are you going to do it? Why isn't it already done? Every day there's another happening. There's all these incels that are going, oh my God, fuck me. So they go and do, you know what would actually make people respect you a little bit and make people want you? Is if you did it. You get heaps of fan mail. Oh my God. Just do it.
if you're just listening and you're not watching, he is putting up a lot of gun signs and essentially saying, follow suit. If you want people to like you as a man and you get lots of fan mail like Luigi is, you should start killing these big notable men too. I mean, that's fucked. It's completely fucked.
Yeah, horrible rhetoric to put out to the universe.
So she then goes on a bit of an apology. She's basically saying that she didn't actually call for the unaliving of Donald Trump. She said, I made a vague joke where the punchline was incels and the reaction to Luigi Mangione. I don't believe that political assassinations are positive for anyone. I thought that the apology was good. She sounded genuine and she did outright say, I am sorry. That was a stupid thing to say. I have grown. I'm not like this anymore. I don't believe this anymore. And I was looking at a couple of her videos recently just in preparation for this, and I do think that she has calmed down a little bit in what she's saying.
Being outspoken became such a pivotal part of the Abbie Chatfield brand that it eventually was going to cause a ruckus, and it started taking over.
I think Abbie just needs to get offline for a little bit. It hasn't served her very well. It seems to give her a lot of anxiety.
Yeah. Well, I think it served her quite well fiscally, but I think there's been a mental toll that she's paid. In Abbie's core is a very pure and good person that has good intentions that are sometimes just communicated in a negative light.
What else it is it all revolves around you. When this is your job, you're videoing yourself, you're editing yourself, you're planning content for yourself. You're not really thinking of the outside world. So she's probably just so deep in it that she doesn't actually understand how other people are viewing it.
Moving on to our last person of the day, and dare I say the most controversial, is none other than Hi Sisters, James Charles. I was never a huge James Charles fan to begin with. It was a huge Tati Westbrook and Jeffree Star fan though. Was obsessed with both of them. I would say I'm still a big fan of Jeffree Star. I feel like Tati's taken a bit of a back step from the public eye. Going back to James Charles, 2016 to 2018 is kind of where we see the rise of James Charles begin. So he begins posting YouTube tutorials in 2015 and is discovered after a tweet featuring his contoured school photo goes viral. That photo is so iconic.
He landed cover girl after that, didn't he?
That's right. He lands CoverGirl and obviously has his iconic Morphe eyeshadow palette that sells out instantly.
With his deal with Morphe, actually, when Morphe collapsed and then got repurchased again, James Charles was owed $2 million. He didn't get that money back, which is kind of crazy.
Oh my God.
That new owners, they don't actually legally owe him money. How
Okay.
pissed would you be?
Yeah, because the debt doesn't carry on to the new business. We have a few good years with Jamesy Poo, a rising star doll, but then we have May 2019 roll around. Iconic Bye Sister Dramageddon 2.0. As we spoke about earlier, beauty influencer and mentor Tati Westbrook, whom Charles had been close friends, posts a 43-minute YouTube video titled Bye Sister with over 33 million views before deletion. I was sat. The second that came out, sat.
I remember being in the office, working away,
Yeah.
and someone being like, have you seen the Bye Sister video that's just dropped? And we watched it together.
I can't think of a single person I know in the beauty industry that hasn't watched it. Tati accuses James Charles of disloyalty, promoted a competitor's hair vitamin brand, Sugar Bear Hair, at Coachella instead of her own Halo Beauty brand. More previously, of using his fame and influence to manipulate straight men into sexual situations. So that was probably the most controversial accusation of it. And it was also backed by people that came out speaking about it. There were some men with sources to back what they were saying. Jeffree Star, who honestly can't speak because at this time he was dating a man that was straight, prior to being with Jeffree Star. But he amplifies the claims on Twitter, calling Charles a danger to society and saying everything Tati said is 100% true. Charles loses more than 3 million YouTuber subscribers in a day.
Watching
Insane.
it. People had the countdowns on their computer watching the downfall.
Yeah. YouTube quietly removes public subscriber counts in response to how metrics were weaponized.
Because he was also
Insane.
very aligned with YouTube because he was pulling in so much money for YouTube. He had the
That's
CEO
right.
on speed dial at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair. Continuing into May, James Charles comes back, posts a 41-minute rebuttal titled No More Lies that includes screenshots and video testimonies refuting many of Westbrook's specific claims. Charles also pushes back on the manipulation allegations. I've never and will never use my fame, money, or power to manipulate or get any sexual actions from a guy. That is disgusting. Jeffree Star begins backtracking, later admitting in a video he regrets his brutal comments. Westbrook eventually deletes her original video. Yeah.
Did it at my birthday.
Iconic. Can I say, doll? First to speak, first to fall. That's the rule.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yes.
First to speak, first to fall.
In a rule of negotiation, can I just say to you, you never give too much information first. You take it all in and you give a tiny little bit back.
Anyway, both parties issue statements committing to move on. Charles returns to YouTube after a month-long hiatus with a video titled Hi Sisters, saying he has a new outlook on internet fame. He recoups most of his lost subscribers. We think we're off the bandwagon. Forward to February, March 2021. There's more underage sexting allegation. Multiple young men surface on TikTok alleging Charles sent them sexually explicit messages when they were minors. One 17-year-old shares screenshots showing Charles continuing to flirt after being told he was underage. Another accuser, Isaiah, alleges that he told Charles he was 16. Charles continues asking for nudes, said it did not matter, and wished the timeline could speed up so he could be 18. At least 15 individuals come forward with various accusations, according to reportings by The Independent. Following that, he posts a video called Holding Myself Accountable, in which he acknowledges that screenshots of conversations with 2 boys who said they were 16 were authentic. So he says he was being reckless by talking to fans in the hopes of finding a romantic or sexual partner, and claims the boys lied to him about their ages. He denies deliberately seeking out minors. Morphe, his major brand partner, releases a statement cutting business ties. YouTube temporarily demonetizes his channel. He is also dropped from hosting the 2nd season of Instant Influencer. His younger brother, model Ian Jeffrey, has not spoken to him since 2021. Really? There is other little mini dramas, but the reason James Charles was so fresh in our mind is because there has been one as of this week. So
Airlines. So Spirit Airlines is like a budget airline in America. Kind of like a Jetstar. It recently went into liquidation. People lost their jobs pretty much straight away, no warning. People couldn't get the flights that they purchased. It was a huge debacle. Now, I don't know if this is connected. So is it a person that used to work at Spirit Airlines contacted James Charles and was like, hey, I've lost my job.
Correct.
Saying I'm hard done by.
Yeah.
They were asking for him to share a link for a GoFundMe, essentially, where people could support this person until they could get another job. He responds not to them, but with a video on TikTok, and it does not land well.
I just got a DM on here from a girl that said, "Good morning, James. I know you'll probably never see this, but if you could just take 1 minute to read it, would really mean a lot to me. I'm really struggling right now because Spirit Airlines just filed for bankruptcy and I have lost my job. Here's the GoFundMe link. Any donations help." I'm sure they do, sweetheart. I'm sure they do. You know what else would help you? Getting another job. Yeah, try that. Because in the time that it took you to copy and paste the same fuck-ass message to myself, who you don't follow, by the way, and probably 100 other influencers and celebrities, you could have applied for 100 other jobs, but you didn't because you're a lazy piece of shit and you're entitled. And you think that influencers and celebrities should fund your life for you. Why would I ever help you? You're not a fan. You don't even follow me. You've never supported me. This is your first time DMing. And you think that I'm going to send you money because you lost your job? Oh my God. Welcome to the real world, sweetheart.
It's a conversation for your friendship group. That's not a conversation to then take global and write a TikTok about it. It seems like a very, very outrageous response to a very,
So just like we spoke before, just think that person was just like, fuck, I've just lost my job and I need to make money. Like,
that's right.
Yeah, scrambling.
It's
like maybe I've got mouths to feed, I've got a mortgage or I've got rent due. Like maybe some help would help. Like, can you share the link or donate $100?
That's
like,
right.
I understand where this person is coming from. To make a whole video like that, James Charles recently has had almost a resurgence, especially on his... You know how people have like a second TikTok channel where it's just like
unscripted. It's like their priv. You know what I mean? It's like their...
I think...
They're dump
and
cow.
a lot of these videos, people are starting to like him a lot now because he's quite funny in his rants, and he does a lot of rant style videos like this that seem to go off really and in a positive sense. This is a similar video style that he usually does, but it's obviously missed the mark. And I think that James has confused this new resurgence as like a group chat. And he's talking to people like they're his friends.
It just comes off as incredibly uneducated and ill-informed. And this is also coming from a man that's never had a blue-collar or white-collar job in his life. It's just incredibly insensitive.
You guys,
always
yabbering for about an hour and a half. So editing-wise, we do need to wrap this up.
Yes, we're wrapping. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys.
That's what we want to know. And you guys, give us your thoughts in the comments and we might just send you a little gift for your response.
Little prezi.
So whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Apple Podcasts, whether you're on Spotify, we will choose one comment to send a little beauty goodie bag to. We will see you next time.
Bye.